My name is Reed Blinn with Newmark Grubb Knight Frank. Today I'm pleased to welcome Rick Bunker, CEO of Prescription Advisory, to our citybizlist interview. Welcome, Rick.
The buying takes place for one of four reasons, or a combination of the four reasons. And there are different roles within the hospital that care about different ones. So one is compliance. 37 states now have passed legislation demanding that doctors review this information, the history of use of controlled substances before writing new prescriptions. That's obviously terrifically helpful to us because the doctors are faced with an almost impossible task of, in the few minutes they have to spend with each patient, retrieving and analyzing this data on their own. And so we automate that and put it right at their fingertips at the point of care, analyzed and highlighting areas of concern. If you imagine the blood test results you get when you go to the doctor, if you're like me, a lot of the numbers are in one column, which means ignore me, you're in the normal range. And then if you're me, your cholesterol and your blood sugar are over in the wrong column. And all the conversation with the doctor takes place about those two numbers. They don't have to pay attention to the other stuff. Similarly, we go through 2 years of history of controlled substances, which can be a lot of prescriptions from a lot of doctors for people who are sick, and just draw the attention straight to the problem. Hey, why are you filling prescriptions at 3 different pharmacies? Why do you have prescriptions for morphine from 3 different doctors in 3 months? Why are you paying cash when you've got insurance? These, those things which are indicators of behaviors that suggest tolerance for addiction. So compliance with the law that demands that they check this information is one, and we make it possible for them to comply in a practical sense. Outcomes are another very important reason. Even though it's a business, the hospitals and the doctors still care about treating patients. And we help them diagnose something that is very hard for them to find otherwise. Patients try to hide addictions. There's a stigma associated with it. And even though it's a predictable comorbidity of the use of these drugs, there's still this stigma and shame associated with it. So patients hide it from the doctor who can help them. And we help uncover that. And they care about that. And they care about that for economic reasons as well. If the patient is part of a capitated program, if they're Medicare, Medicaid, or if they have purchased their insurance through the exchanges, then the hospital's on the hook for all the expense of treating them, or the idea and the integrated delivery network. And so they want the good outcomes because it saves them money to not have them show up in the emergency department, and it gives them a better star rating, et cetera. There's a direct financial incentive. If you think about it, a doctor's in the business of diagnosing a problem and then treating the problem. It's what they get paid to do. And so as we help them diagnose a problem, then they get to treat the problem, and they make money treating that problem. We need to show a little more market traction. We plan to leave this year at a multi-million-dollar run rate. And I think that's the time when we can go out to the institutions. So we can graduate away from the family offices and the Ben Franklins of the world who are established in order to take risks on early stage companies, and get into the institutions because we'll be more credible. And they don't want to hear a good story, they want to see EBITDA, and we'll have that by the end of this year. So I think early next year is probably when we'll look for funding. And that's really just all about hiring salespeople faster than we can organically afford to do so. To establish a territory costs us $500,000 because you have to hire the people and train them, and it takes them a couple months to become effective, and then we have 5 to 6 month sales cycle, so you have to carry them along for some time before they're producing any revenue. And with our organic growth, we'll be able to add a territory a quarter or so. But if we see the market traction and we see the land grab opportunity, we'll go out and try to get the money to add 10 territories right away. And that's what a B would be.